Welcome to the AgriSpec Tom channel. My name is Tom Turner and I'm an agricultural advisor. Some of you might recognize me from TikTok, and for those of you guys who do, welcome over to this channel. I just wanted to come on here and give an introduction to this channel and give you a bit of background about myself and what I'm looking at doing with this channel and the sort of content I'm looking at putting out for you guys. Before we get into talking about the sort of content that I'm going to be putting across onto this channel, I'd like to share a little bit of a backstory about myself and where I come from, and also a little bit about where I'm looking at going. So to go right back, I come from a small livestock farm in South Devon. That's where I was born and raised. I am a Devon boy at heart, though the accent might not indicate that at all. So that small farm was a small livestock farm. We did sheep. Not the most productive either. For those who've seen my TikTok videos talking about this, you'll understand why. But I spent my entire childhood on that farm, working on that farm and learning a bit about the trade. And then I would go off and work on other farming units, so either local to me or a bit further away, you know, as far as into North Devon and sometimes in Somerset, Dorset, and a little bit up into the Cotswolds as well. Most of the farming units I actually went to work on were arable units, not livestock units, and that is where a lot of my passion is, more in the arable sector in crops than it necessarily is with livestock. So when I got to an age where I was working out my path in life and what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it, I decided that I would take my education a bit further and go to university. Because I thought that I wanted to go into agricultural accounting and finance. I chose the Royal Agricultural University because I wanted to specialise in agricultural finance, so I wanted an agricultural degree. I had offers from places like Reading, Aberystwyth, Harper Adams, but I decided that the Royal Ag was actually the best fit for me. And I spent 3 years doing agricultural management there. Thoroughly enjoyed my time there. It was a great place to be. I've left with many friends. And luckily, after I finished my degree, because of some of the research that I had done as part of my degree, I was offered a scholarship to go to the University of Sheffield to study sustainable agricultural technologies under a full scholarship, which was very fortunate. So after finishing at the Royal Agricultural University, I went to the University of Sheffield and I studied that master's. It was the first year they were running it, and it was basically around soil science, precision technology and crop physiology. And that degree actually cemented more and more of my love for crops and soil health, and looking at things a bit more critically. So from there, because I was still set on my path of being an accountant, I started to apply for jobs within the accounting sector, bearing in mind this was just at the start of COVID, so everything was quite difficult to try and get jobs in that sort of sector. So I ended up going to a big firm, a top 10 firm, called Crow. And I worked there for some time, and I realised actually quite quickly that job was just not right for me. I was auditing. And for anyone who understands auditing, it's quite a laborious task. And it just didn't resonate with me. I was spending my life sitting in front of a desk, not really getting much out of life. And I decided that I needed to change and I needed to get back to farming, because that's what I missed. I missed being out on farm. I missed agriculture. I thoroughly missed it. So I decided that I would quit my job. So I quit the job. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. And I then just took any job that was going. Happened to be with Frontier, just grain sampling. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine job. In the hopes that I'd be able to pick up an agronomy job with them. Unfortunately, there were too many agronomists around where I was, so I couldn't get in with them. But while I was searching for an agronomy job, I had a recruiter contact me to ask if I was interested in working as an agricultural consultant for ADAS. And I thought, well, I knew a little bit about ADAS. I thought, okay, that sounds good, because I could do all the the agronomy and crop management things that I wanted to do, but also had the benefit of doing some business management as well and learning some more broader skills. So I thought, yeah, that'd be great. So I took the interviews and I was fortunate enough to be offered a job as an agricultural business consultant. And I went and joined ADAS, and I spent a few years working there in their agricultural business team. And after a few years working with clients, I was delivering on things like crop management. I was delivering on things like soil management plans. I was doing infrastructure stuff, a little bit of infrastructure stuff, but also advising on business management, so cash flow forecasting, business planning and everything that goes along with that, succession planning, and also environmental policy. So I was advising on BPS, I was advising on countryside stewardship, and now that's transitioned into environmental land management schemes. So I started advising on those as well, and I still do a fair bit of stuff on that side as well, to be fair. And with ADAS, I also did a fair chunk of dairy consulting as well. So I was working across a very broad spectrum. My area was the entirety of the south of England. So everything from Hampshire across into Gloucestershire, Oxfordshire, and then the entirety of West Wales and down into the depths of Cornwall was my area. It was a huge area and there was a lot to manage and the hours were long. And there were plenty of clients to service and work with. So it was a very trying job, but it also was very, very rewarding. Working with farming clients on a daily basis was something I seriously enjoyed. And I love working with farmers and helping things get better, and seeing things get better on farm because you've been out working with a farmer and seeing like things progress really got me excited and going. So after a few years I decided that I needed a change, and I wanted to change. I wanted to move more into the agronomy side of it, and I started to kind of branch out. And at that time, that was when KWS had a job posting for National Sales Manager for maize, and I thought, oh, that seems quite interesting. Let's see what that's about. Let's see if that leads me a little bit more into the agronomy side, because they were looking for someone who would be going out on farm quite a bit and helping support farmers and agronomists. So I applied for that job and I was offered it. So I then joined KWS, who are an agricultural seed breeder, so they're a plant breeder. And I joined them just over a year ago now. So I'm still doing a lot of agriculture advisory work through things like soil health management, crop management. I do a fair bit of the agronomy side, specialising more in maize, but also I have a background in oilseeds and cereals as well, so I'm knowledgeable on those areas too. And while I was an agricultural consultant, I also did something else. I started a TikTok account. Now, this TikTok account was meant to share advice for farmers, so things like business management, agronomy, policy, and those kind of things, just to give a little bit of information, break things down, make things more simple, and help support farmers and those in the agricultural space. And I started this TikTok account to help farmers and people in agriculture. And it's kind of gone from there. I've developed quite a good following, and I've helped quite a few people, and it's been incredibly rewarding. But on TikTok, what I found is it's quite difficult to do particularly long form videos in a lot of detail, and or the sort of detail that I would like to be doing things. So I've decided to start this channel. And the sort of content that I'm going to be putting out for you guys is going to be focused more in depth to the content that I put on TikTok. So I'm going to be going more in depth into agronomy. I'm going to be going more in depth into agricultural policy. I'm going to be doing a lot more things focusing around planning and structuring farm businesses and those kind of things. And I'm going to be creating content which is focused around those areas, but in more detail than I do on the TikTok account, because this is a much better platform for that. So What you're going to see from me on this channel is going to be things like crop management, agronomy, it's going to be soil health, it's going to be business management, it's going to be environmental policy, it's going to be a little bit of days in life, so you can see what I do on a daily basis. So there's going to be a bit of vlog content as well. But the primary focus of this account is to support you guys on farm. It is to give you advice, to help do things a little bit better, because that is what I strive to do on a daily basis in my job, in my personal life as well. When I speak to farmers and agricultural professionals, I just want to help and make things better, and also learn from you guys, because that has been half the fun as well with starting my own channel and also working within agriculture. I learn as much from you guys as I hope you learn from me. It's been an incredibly rewarding process so far, and I would really like you to join me in this journey. Let me know what you want to see, because although I'm going to be putting topics up, so I'm starting a soil health series as my first series on this channel, with a video going up in this coming week. I would like to hear from you guys on what you would like to learn about, because I would like to help you and simplify things as much as I can to make agriculture as accessible as possible for everyone. Because although you might be an expert in one area in your field that you've been working in, doesn't mean you know everything about every part of farming and agriculture. That's something I've learned. You know, when I started as an agricultural consultant, I came in with a fair bit of experience within the crop side and within sheep. I knew nothing about cows, and I had to pick up on that. I didn't know anything about pigs. I need to learn about that. I didn't know anything about poultry. I need to learn about that in order to work within those sectors and help their businesses. And it's the one thing that I've learned, is that we are not experts in every area. Just because you work in farming doesn't mean you can be expected to know everything. I know that firsthand from being a farmer and then being a consultant. It's very, very tricky. And I want to help you guys as much as possible and navigate through this process. So, as I said, please, if you're interested in watching this sort of content and taking this journey with me, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, drop a comment, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. And if you haven't come from TikTok or Instagram and you'd like to go across those channels and see the sort of content I put out to see if it's right for you, please go onto the description of this video and go through to that TikTok channel or that Instagram account and see the sort of stuff that I share or have shared over the last few years. Thank you very much, and I look forward to you guys joining me on this journey.